Innistrad Midnight Hunt is almost upon us. Have you pre-registered at your local game store for pre-release, whether there is safe in-store play or take-home kits to enjoy with friends, or even over webcam? I must say that Innistrad is looking like an amazing experience for pre-release, for draft, and with Eldraine gone from standard, constructed play. But what about Commander? Well, there's some real treasures here, but Commander players need not hunt for them by buying packs and ripping wrappers. Packs are for draft, after all, or perhaps just those affluent enough to joyride through. But for the rest of us, for the Commander players, you do not need to buy Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Just buy these Commander cards from Innistrad Midnight Hunt instead. But first, a quick word about this video. This video is brought to you by Displate. Displate are high-quality prints on metal. Yes, that ancient material known as metal that can be mounted on the wall with help of a magnet. No additional tools needed. There's many radical designs, but I think you'll like the ones I picked because, oh snap, there's a wide variety of Magic the Gathering prints from Magic the Gathering artists available, plus literally thousands of other designs, not Magic related, but I only picked the Magic ones. With Displate, you can build collections of the things that you are passionate about right on your wall. I actually really love how these are hung up via magnets, which makes swapping them out or adjusting their height and level super easy. The colors are vivid, the print quality is fantastic. I've got new decorations for the office for sure. And there's a lot more Magic the Gathering artists who have their artwork up on Displate, from Peter Moorbacher to Sam Burley. And yes, I do suppose there's that non-Magic the Gathering stuff if that's your jam. Search through their library and see if anything interests you. So be sure to check out my link in this video's description for 26% off if you order 1 to 2 Displates and 36% off if you order 3 or more, but just for a limited time. Many Magic the Gathering artworks are available, as well as that wide variety of other awesome designs. Thanks again to Displate for sponsoring this video. Commander, the most popular Magic the Gathering format, even if the most popular Commander has been banned. Farewell, Golos. Keep on pilgrimaging. Luckily, when some toys go, others arrive, so let's take this opportunity to look at the top 5 cards for Commander from Innistrad Midnight Hunt. And remember, we're talking about the proper set, no precons, and cards that go in the 99. See a legendary you love and want to build a Commander around? Do it! Like I did with Tovalor. And you can see my guide on that here. If I do talk about legendaries, it'll be as part of the 99, like with our honorable mention. Lair, Disciple of the Drowned. Obviously a cool commander in its own right, I think a lot of decks will put this in the 99. A legendary human wizard for 3 generic and 2 blue, Lair reads, spells can't be countered. Woohoo! Each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. The flashback cost is equal to that card's mana cost. So obviously any blue Spellslinger deck is going to have to seriously consider Lair. Imagine getting to cast your extra turn spells not just once, but twice. What a surefire way to make friends. In all seriousness though, Lair is a powerful weapon in any blue deck that cares about instants and sorceries. He is a little narrow though, and as such, I'm only putting him as an honorable mention. But now let's hit the list running with our next card, or should I say cards, coming in at number 5. That's right, it's the new land cycle. I guess that's a bit of a cheat, but let's be honest. This new land cycle of allied colored lands are an absolute boon to Commander. They enter the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. Remember the cycle of lands from Battle for Zendikar that required you to have 2 basic lands in order to enter the battlefield untapped? Well, these are even better, particularly in 3, 4, or 5 colored decks that run only a handful of basics. Now the drawback is that they aren't searchable as the Tango lands from Battle for Zendikar are, due to their lack of land subtypes. But nonetheless, they are going to fill a great role in many decks. In many ways, these remind me of the Czech lands, which require you to have a specific basic land subtype in order to enter the battlefield untapped, and those are fine in Commander too. As the price of original dual lands skyrockets, and shock lands stay steadily above the $10 mark, and fetch lands continue to be fetch lands, getting a new cycle of lands for Commander helps put some power back into mana bases and most of all, accessibility. Moving along our list, coming in at number 4, we have Vanquish the Horde. Vanquish the Horde costs 6 generic and 2 white mana to destroy all creatures. But it has the Blasphemous Act clause that reduces its mana cost by 1 generic mana for each creature on the battlefield. An unconditional board wipe for as little as 2 mana? Count me in. Huge boards of enemy creatures are a frequent problem in Commander, and Vanquish the Horde deals with them as efficiently as possible, and unlike Blasphemous Act, gets around creatures with protection. Pair this with a well-timed Flawless Maneuver or Akroma's Will, and you're looking at a very clear path to victory. Isn't it satisfying when you get to use your opponent's numbers against them? I sure love it, and I love Vanquish the Horde. Number 3 on our list is Morbid Opportunist. This may come as a surprise, but card draw is good. Great even. And that's why Morbid Opportunist is my number 3 pick. Creatures, as you know, die to removal. In fact, they die from removal often. In Commander, this is all the more true when there are twice as many creatures dying to removal. Morbid Opportunist allows its controller to take advantage of that slaughterfest, which games of Commander so often become. In Aristocrats decks, this one card is going to be an MVP, but when playing against an Aristocrats deck, it will allow you to keep up with its vile value engine. In combat-heavy metas, this will prove just as useful. As each chump blocker meets its doom, you will reap the reward. Even if your playgroups don't play Aristocrats or even attack one another. I've got playgroups like that. Creatures will still die, and Morbid Opportunist will be there for you, making sure that you stay ahead even as your pawns are left permanently behind. Alright, so we're down to the top 2, and as usual, I can see a bit of a debate between which one should have gained the number 1 slot, but these 2 cards from Innistrad Midnight Hunt have me more excited than ever to buy singles at my local game store if I'm just looking for these cards for Commander. Let's start with number 2. While removal and card draw are both necessary and powerful, nothing in Commander is quite as powerful as having the card you need when you need it. As such, my number 2 pick is Moonsilver Key. For 2 generic mana, you get an artifact that reads, pay 1 generic mana, tap, and sacrifice Moonsilver Key. Search your library for an artifact with a mana ability or a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. I'm sure that basic land clause is relevant, but more relevant is being able to search your deck for the Great Henge or Ashnod's Altar, even if all you're able to find is a powerful mana rock like Jeweled Lotus or Mana Crypt. You are in a much stronger position than you would have been otherwise. Commander is, by design, an inconsistent format, so any card that adds even a hint of extra consistency is worth taking a good look at, especially when it can be run in any deck and tutor for many of the most powerful artifacts in the game. Alright, so what's my number 1 pick? Why, it's none other than Auger of Autumn. Now, I'm not sure green really needs a Courser of Kruphix Vizier of the Menagerie hybrid, but there it sits. Hey, that's green for you. Yay. Wizards of the Coast does realize it isn't 1994, and green isn't the weakest color anymore, right? I digress. Autumn of Augur is a human dryad for 1 generic and 2 green mana that allows its controller to look at the top card of their library anytime, play lands from the top of their library, and, if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, such a burden in the color that loves creatures, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Now that's what I call card advantage. This is a new staple in any green deck with a large number of creatures, without a doubt. And let's face it, a green deck with a large number of creatures is most of them. Despite the 2 green pips, this is probably a strong choice in even 3 or 4 color decks, since it can help keep the mana flowing well into late game. Granted, it doesn't block as well as Courser of Kruphix or Vizier of the Menagerie, but who uses their utility creatures to block in Commander anyway? Alright, I'm just grasping at straws at that one, but this card slaps. Am I saying that right, kids? Slaps? The sheer utility of Auger of Autumn is the reason why it is my number 1 pick for Commander from Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Whew, I cannot wait to brew with these new cards, let alone wild new commanders like Torvald, possibly my favorite of the set, and who I have a very nasty deck brewed up with that you can view here. But now I want to hear from you. Did I miss anything? Now remember, I'm talking about cards that go in the 99, so while there's a lot of awesome new legendaries, if you think there are individual cards for Commander that deserve a spot on this list that I missed, let me know in the comments below. Special thanks once again to Displate for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check out my link in this video's description for 1 to 2 Displates with 26% off or 36% off if you buy 3 or more, but just for a limited time. Many Magic the Gathering artworks are available, as well as a library of other awesome designs. So, thanks again to Displate for sponsoring this video.